Welcome to our webinar, Use TCP/IP to back up your IBM I without tape. For IBM I series, AS400, System I, AIX, and Linux. My name is Axe Signer, Vice President of Solutions here at Electronic Storage Corporation. Our company is located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've been in business for over 30 years. We are a software developer, so here at our Tulsa office, we have our own programming staff, also our own customer service and technical support staff located in Tulsa. We are an IBM registered business partner as well as a Microsoft certified partner. So today's agenda, we're going to discuss a quick review of some of the risks and drawbacks of using physical tape, see how to back up your IBM I via TCP/IP to your own Windows server, NAS, SAN, or deduplication appliance. Learn how to improve your disaster recovery protection by doing bare metal restores without tape. So we're going to cover those three things today to give you some good information of how you can replace tape with a disk-to-disk backup solution. So the risks and drawbacks of using tape. Tapes can be mislabeled, broken, stolen, and or destroyed. So you've had some of these occurrences with particular tapes or tape devices where you've had issues where you couldn't produce a particular backup. That could be eliminated with a disk-to-disk backup solution. Human error and tape backups are always at risk. The more tapes, the more risks. So if you look at the inventory of tapes that you keep, the more tapes that you have to keep, store, retrieve, swap out every week, every month, every other week, however often that you have to swap out tapes, those become more and more at risk of having issues. Gaps in your data in results of incomplete backups due to a manual process, especially in these days where if you are working from home, you've got to go into the data center in order to swap out tapes for the week. If there's any kind of a lag in that, being able to get that accomplished, then you could have some gaps in your daily backups in which they weren't able to complete. And that includes the risks of using tape. So if you have a more automated system that runs completely unattended without having to go in and change out tapes, then you've got a solution that you know every day that you need backups is going to occur because it's a completely automated process. So, and also number 4, tape media degrades over time, resulting in irretrievable data. So it's vulnerable, especially for industries with long retention periods are required. So the ability to store the data on disk, and the other benefit to that would be is that you can actually have 2 copies of your backups. With tape, you only have 1 copy of your backup. That the media in which that backup is stored over time could degrade, where in this case, if you have 2 copies of your backups on disk for your second copy or on cloud storage or both, or even taking a second copy and copying it to tape when you still have your original backup stored on disk. So again, 2 copies, always better than 1 tape copy. Lost customers, lost business, so customers are inconvenienced or lost due to system being down or lost data. So this would be a way that you can ensure that your backups are always complete, the data is always retrievable, that the data that you're backing up is also auditable, so it can be audited to see exactly what's being backed up on a daily basis, as well as the retention of those saves. Business reputation can suffer when you tell customers data has been lost. You always want to be able to restore data if you need to. You always want to be able to go back to a period of time in which you need that data to access that information. And that's always important if you have it stored reliably, including having 2 copies of the backups for redundancy. So when you think about your data stored on tape, what is it that keeps you awake at night? These are all issues that go above and beyond the issues with tapes themselves, where you have some sort of disaster occurs in which the tapes or the data on your system is not accessible. Therefore, you need to have access to that data. And storing to disk and storing that copy on disk to another location or cloud storage gives you that extra protection from these particular things that can cause loss of data. Making backups easier using your existing TCP/IP network. So what's great about this is that You set this system in and use your existing TCP/IP network, and you'll be able to save all your libraries, your objects, your IFS, all of your data files, including your operating system and licensed internal code, directly to disk just by using your existing TCP/IP network. So it makes it really simple to plug and play this solution into your existing network. So automate your backup process with simple backup commands. These commands are all in the iSeries that come with the product, so that you can use all of these commands or whichever ones that you need in order to perform saves. So saves are going to be defined to where they can run automatically every night, never having to change out a tape every day or once a week, because this is going to be a system that's going to run completely normal everyday process that is going to be completely automated. No operator intervention will be needed in dealing with physical tapes and the manual process of that. So it'll be a completely automated solution that's completely controlled by the iSeries environment, which is what you're familiar with, and that makes it really easy to implement. The Laser Vault Backup Solution. So this is software that we developed with our own programming staff here in Tulsa. You can install this software on a Windows server, a Windows PC with any flavor of Windows that you want to use, typically one that's currently supported, Windows 10, 2019 server, 2016 server, but typically it would be a Windows 10 or 2019 server, or it could be a VM environment, so you don't have to have a physical machine in order to run this software. The IBM library, which is the Laser Vault library, that's going to be installed. That has all the save and restore commands and catalog lookup commands that are available on the iSeries to perform backups, to see what you've saved, and to select what you want to restore. Deduplication, replication cloud. So you can save to any deduplication appliance. We work with several like Rubrik, Cohesity, Exagrid. There's several others out there on the market. If you currently have a deduplication appliance, you'd like to use that to store your backups, go right ahead. We can set that up so that Laser Vault can save right to that deduplication appliance, or it can save to a SAN or NAS. Replication, being able to copy your backups from one disk to another. Typically, this would be disk that is at another one of your locations, at your DR site. Cloud could be cloud is an option that you can set up as a replication, and you can actually make two other copies of your backups besides the local saved copy. You could replicate to disk at a DR location, and you could also replicate to cloud storage. So Laser Vault Backup, if we take a look at the Windows side of this is the Laser Vault Backup Management Console. This gives you the ability first to create a catalog, and the catalog is everything that's where the data is going to be saved. So the catalog, I'm looking at the catalog now, and I can see all of my libraries that I've saved on the system, and this is going to be accessible from the iSeries, this catalog, because this is all stored in a database. It's accessible from the iSeries so that you can select the libraries or objects. You can restore members, but this gives you exactly everything that you saved from the library, and down below all the objects for that library. This backup may also contain a system save where you save the operating system and licensed internal code to the Laser Vault system that you can use to restore bare metal a new iSeries machine with that data of the operating system and the licensed internal code. So this catalog, we have a catalog path. So if we take a look at the edit screen of this catalog, this is where you define the saves. So where the saves are going to be stored. In this case, this server or machine that's running Laser Vault has a E-disk volume in which the backups are being stored. Instead, this could be a SMB share to a SAN or NAS or deduplication appliance. So you can set that up to where the backups are being written directly to that disk. The software has compression, which averages 5 to 1. Also encryption. This is where your encryption passphrase is put in. And you can set that encryption and compression to run anytime, either after the backup, during the backup, or as a scheduled task. Transfer. So replication. This gives you the ability to replicate the catalog to another catalog path here. Now the catalog data itself, which would contain the list of the libraries and the objects, kind of like the label file on a tape, that can also be replicated. And that data is stored in SQL, Microsoft SQL Server, and you can use SQL Express for that database, which is the free version of Microsoft SQL. The catalog path you can replicate either immediately after the backup of the files or as a scheduled task. And this is going to make an exact copy of what was saved in Laser Vault Backup to this alternate secondary catalog path that you put in here. So that could be SMB shared network path to storage at a DR location. It could be cloud storage, whatever it is that you want to set up in terms of replicating these files. Over to the right, you have several notification options, which will send you an email of the data that you've saved. So it gives you a list, and it can give that to you in HTML format via email. It'll show you all the libraries and objects that have been saved. It will also show you if there was an object that was not saved. This does do saves while the system is active because it's using TCP/IP. Many customers will end Q Interactive jobs during the time of the backup. It's not completely necessary, but some folks do that just to make sure there's no users on the system. In cases where you're doing backups, it's not often that you can get an object locked on a save. Usually it's IFS log files that are used by the system. So this is where you get notifications. A great resource to go back and see, and it also stores those logs in a log path that you define. So you can always go back and audit your saves via the log files as well as the catalog so that you can show everything that you're saving on a daily basis. So for this catalog, partition 1. So let's say your system has two partitions, a production and a development partition, and you want to save both. That's easy to do with Laser Vault Backup. For this one partition, we have its own catalog path. For the development partition, we have another catalog path. So for each of these, you can define TCP/IP ports that you want to use for each of the partitions. So typical installation is 5 TCP/IP ports per partition. The nice thing about setting up multiple ports is it's a multi-thread process so that when you run a backup of multiple libraries, it'll save multiple libraries at the same time. So it's for speed. Typical connection from the iSeries onto the Laser Vault is a 1 gig Ethernet. It's going to give you around 200 to 250 gig an hour backup speed on the 1 gig Ethernet. If you use 10 gig, of course, it'd be a lot faster. But that's a typical backup speed with 1 gig Ethernet. But the 5-port capability means that if you're saving all user libraries and you're using 5 ports, there's going to be 5 libraries that are saving at the same time through that TCP/IP connection. So it's a multi-thread process that will help speed up your backup through the 1 gig Ethernet connection. All right, so now let's take a look at the iSeries side. These are the commands for the saves. So here are the save library command, save objects, save changed objects, DLO files, IFS files, security data, and configuration data. We'll take a look at save libraries. What you'll see is that this command is save lib lv. So it's similar to the save lib that you use with tape. And so this has the ability to either create a list of libraries that you want to save to emulate the exact save that you're performing now if it's a set of libraries that you're saving on a daily, weekly basis. Other options include all user libraries, so you can put in that single value, IBM files, or non-sys. Non-sys is both IBM and all user. So you can put in non-sys if you want to and save both of those. You also have save while active, access paths, spool file data, page down. You can do libraries to omit, objects to omit, and then down here at the very bottom is where you put in the number of ports that you want to use. So in this backup, I'm saving all user libraries or multiple libraries. I want to set it up to where I run all 5 of these ports, where I'm running 5 streams of data at the same time. 5 libraries at the same time are being backed up during the backup process. And you can actually go up to 10 of these ports to back up 10 libraries at the same time, which could also increase the speed of your backups. Save objects, pretty similar to the save object using tape. And this is all transmitting through TCP/IP. So there's minimal hardware that's required for this. You can run LaserVault, the Windows side, in a VM. You can use existing disk storage, NAS or SAN or deduplication appliance. You can connect it to your existing TCP/IP network that your iSeries is connected to. That makes it really minimal hardware requirements that are needed in order to start doing this instead of tape. Then we have, let's take a look at number 10. This is where you can go in and define the ports that you want to use for the LaserVault server. So if we're using .77 as the LaserVault server, then we have a number of ports defined. Let's take a look at 6 through 10 here. And so these ports 6 through 10, I can use 6 through 10 as a backup. That would be 5 ports, or I could use 10 ports. There's a port number, but there's also at the far right column expiration date. So this allows you to set an expiration on the saves when you do a save with these ports. So I could set that to 15 days, 30 days, whatever the retention that you want it to be for these saves. And let's say they're daily saves that you use these ports, and you set that to 15 days. Well, these files that you say will store on the disk for 15 days, and they can be automatically deleted once they expire. So now you're able to set your retention to where it automatically expires the backups when you want them to expire and when you need them to expire. If it's set to 0, which these are, then they're permanent. They won't delete unless you delete them. If you were to use 11 through 15 for a weekly backup, those could be set to a different retention. So a weekly backup, maybe you're storing those for 60 or 90 days. You'd have a 60 or 90-day retention for the expiration parameter for those ports. So that weekly backup, you would use 11 through 15. You would use those ports to store those backups because they're weeklies. You want to store them for 30 days or 60 days, whatever. And you could use those ports and have a different retention set for those. So this is a way for you to set up all your backups, all your retentions, and never have to deal with retrieving tapes for those particular types of backups because it's completely automated. Now let's take a look at restores. So let's do a number 11, and let's do a 6 here. I'll do 100 actually. So I'm going to go to do a retrieval. It's called WorkVol LV, and I want to get a list of everything that I've saved. And this is to give you a list and to give you the ability to, from that list, select what you want to restore. So what's really cool is that you can restore from one partition that you've saved and restore it to a different partition. Really simple to do. You would just put the server number that's associated with that partition and that catalog. Okay, so that allows you to go say I need something from production restored to development. Well, you just put in whichever server number that is that's defined for production so that it can access the catalog from production and see all those backups, because I'm on the dev machine right now, but I want to see all the backups from production and restore something from production over to dev. So you select the port, that's assigned to that catalog for production, you'll get a list of all those backups, and you can select something to restore. You can also put in the name of the library that you would like to take a look at. So if I put in the name of the library, it shows every time that I've got that out there on the system that's where it's been saved. So these are all the versions of UBD, the library, that I can restore to this system. You can take a 10 because there's a date and time stamp for every time that you saved it. If you take a 10 next to that library, it's going to take you right to the restore lib-lv command, and you can start, setting these parameters. You can also restore it to a different library name by selecting that, and it'll automatically restore it to that library or to the existing library name to this system. Instead of doing that, you can do a 5, and that gives you a view of the objects in the library. So now, instead of restoring the entire library, you want to select certain objects to restore. So I'll put a 10 next to those, press enter. Those objects are going to be using restore object LV. Page down, you can restore those to a different library. So again, it makes it really easy to go and see backups from other partitions with the partition you're using because you want to restore to this partition. It makes it really simple for you to go in and retrieve those files in the catalog and be able to select what you need to restore. And you can even do a 5 and take a look at if there's any members in that file. You can do a 5 and look at the members and restore the members. We also have work with groups, number 12. So this lets you see a group of backups. So what you can do is for your daily backups, you can save those to a group. And it's a simple command that you have in a simple CO program, which all those commands reside to do your saves that you'll run in your job scheduler. But a group means that you can create a group. Everything for that group is saved. So these are daily backup groups. You could have a list of weekly backup groups, monthly backup groups, because those are different saves that you perform for those different times. And you can restore the whole group. You can do a 5 and view the group, and then select anything that you want from the group to restore. So just another way to catalog your backups and retrieve them. Okay, so we talked about the software. We've taken a look at it real quick, just to kind of go finish up here real quick. TCP/IP, using that to do saves and restores through 1 gig Ethernet or 10 gig Ethernet. We talked about using multiple ports, up to 10 ports for each backup instance. That would allow you to do 10 libraries at the same time. Using backup commands to save directly without using save files. That's a good point here to make, is that we're not using save files. This is actually using an API that's available on the iSeries to do these saves via TCP/IP without using save files. Improved disaster recovery. So you're going to be able to back up user libraries, config files, security data. You're also going to be able to back up your operating system and the licensed internal code. That's available in Laser Vault Backup. That can be copied to DVD and used to perform a bare metal restore of a new system. Replicate your backups to cloud or disaster recovery site. And know that your data is secure in case of restore in any size disaster. Anything that occurs where you have copies of your backups, you're able to get that data, restore it. The data is secure. The backup procedure is completely automated so that you don't miss any backups on any particular day. Transporting of physical tapes. This is one of the main things that people are looking to get away from in terms of Laser Vault Backup, is the transportation of physical tapes from the DR site, from the vault, from someone's house. Even that's been the case in some cases, where you'd like to eliminate that that manual labor part, the labor part of that particular process of having to transfer those physical tapes. So we went through a little bit of the configuration on the Laser Vault backup software when we showed the live version of the product. Let's go ahead, and we talked about this menu here as well. So I went ahead and showed that to you on the iSeries. Everything that you need is included with the product to do your saves and restores. We'll even help you set up your automated process. There's some example CO programs that come with the Laser Vault library that give you a good starting point. In some cases, we'll just take that CO program that we've got, and the customer says, yeah, that's what we want to back up. So we'll just compile that, set that in the job scheduler, and they're ready to go day one. This is a great testimonial from Carlisle, a company called Carlisle, where they've no longer miss backups because of tape scheduling, backups on weekends, or because it's so automated. I mean, everything's done where you don't have to be there. You don't have to worry about tapes. And the rotating tape schedule can be completely eliminated. Replace labor-intensive manual process with tape. Leaves you more time for other important tasks. Doesn't interrupt any tasks that you're currently trying to complete. To be able to have this done completely labor-free, complete backups, completely automated. Easy deployment means no disruptions for your IT operations. So yeah, I mean, we can install this software, set up the CO program, add it to the job scheduler, and typically you're ready to start running your backups day one to disk. Automated, talked a lot about that. So it's a big advantage and benefit to be able to do automated backups without having to deal with physical tape. Okay, so we'd love to do a custom demo with you. The custom demo, we'd like to go over your iSeries environment, how many partitions that you need to save, how much data that you need to save, what your current backup processes are, what you would like to do in terms of interest for replication of those backups. So kind of cover all of that to get an exact configuration in terms of do you need any hardware or do you just need software only? Because that's what a lot of times we provide. Because it's so easy to set up the environment for this software to be installed. Many times, probably 99% of the time for this solution, we're providing only the software, and then we can help you get everything installed and up and running. And go over your disk storage and talk about how much disk storage you're going to need based on the Laser Vault compression, or maybe you're using a deduplication appliance, and that's usually 10-to-1 or even better compression with dedupe. And also, you get a Uber Eats gift card if you do take a look at a demo. Questions, quotes, custom online demo. There's also a technical document, the Laser Vault Backup Technical Specifications that you can download from the webinar panel. Also on this here is our contact information, info@laservault.com. Extension 1001 is my direct extension if you wanted to call and ask me any questions that you need. In terms of how the product would work in your particular environment. Full system restore. Okay, so there's a question about full system restore. What you would do first is perform a command that comes with the software called a save sys lv. So you want to perform that first. So save sys lv takes your operating system and your licensed internal code and saves it out to the IFS, plus any libraries that you need, like Qusersys, Laser Vault library, QGPL, and that goes to a second file on IFS. Then you're going to save those two files to Laser Vault. So they're stored in the catalog of Laser Vault. They're stored on disk. They're stored in the catalog. If you wanted to, at that point in time, you could burn those two files into two separate DVDs, or you could leave them on Laser Vault. You could replicate them to store a copy somewhere else as well. You could take them and put them on DVD and store those, but that's what you would use to do a bare metal restore of a system. And then once you do that, you connect to Laser Vault, and then you would take, your latest save that you've performed of your libraries and restore that using the Laser Vault restore commands. So that because it's doing this through TCP/IP, you can't do an option 21 with this product. You can't do a restricted state full system save. We have another product that allows you to do that because it emulates tape. So if you're thinking, well, my backups, I run an option 21 every day, or I run an option 21 once a week, and you want to be able to ensure that you get everything when you run those option 21s, and those are the backups you want to continue to run, then you might look at our tape emulation solution that allows you to do full system saves, and you can IPL from those full system saves. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, this is different than that because it's using TCP/IP, but there is a way to save the system in the OS. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for your time today. We have a giveaway of Bose SoundLink portable Bluetooth speaker. So if you're the winner of that cool speaker right there, got great sound, then you'll see that in an email from our marketing director there that you've won that speaker. So we'll have a drawing for that and then notify the person within 24 to 48 hours of the winner for that. So I want to thank everyone for your time. Appreciate it. If you'd like to see a custom demo, please let us know. We'd love to talk about your iSeries environment, see how we can help you. If you are leaning more towards where you would need a tape emulation solution, we can talk about that too, because we have a great product for emulating tape. If you're using BRMS, we have a tape library emulation product called Vital that emulates a tape library to be used with BRMS or Robot Save. If you're currently using a physical tape library, that's typically replaced with our VTL solution. This solution here, and the VTL solution and the tape emulation does require fiber channel or SAS, whereas this solution requires only TCP/IP network, which already exists in your data center. So, but we can definitely talk about that because you may have some requirements that would lean towards a tape emulation solution, which we also provide. Okay, well, thanks everyone for your time. Really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day.